Pastor Miller here. Thank you for taking time to watch this short video. It's an exciting time. We're about to return to in-person worship right here at Living Faith in our own building. It's been 3 months since we've done so, and coming back to worship is going to look different and going to require different actions than when we worshiped here prior. So I want to take a few minutes just to talk about some things to ready us for that new environment and the new practices. I want to talk about things that we think about in advance, things when we arrive, things once we're in the building, and then finally just some general items for our consideration. First, let's talk about things in advance. Now we're going to offer at this point one short, abbreviated worship service, shorter than what we did before. There won't be any classrooms, no teaching in classrooms. Entire families will just meet in the auditorium. As time goes on and we learn and develop and things happen, we will again consider returning to classrooms and perhaps even offering additional services to accommodate capacity. So that's in the future. Now here's the thing about in advance. If you're uncomfortable with any of these guidelines, stay home. If you are in a vulnerable population, it's really recommended and advised, stay home. Now we're going to send out a questionnaire for self-screening every week. We're going to require people to register so that we can monitor our attendance for limited capacity. And if you feel sick in any way, stay home. Now the good news is we're going to continue to offer our services online, posted, not just audio, but video. We intend to get better and better at that as time goes on. This week even got some new equipment and software to help make that happen. So those are things to consider in advance. Now let's talk about when you arrive on the property. Once you come up to the building, we want everyone to use the corner gate. It'll be propped open for you, but use that gate at 26th and Hoyt. Once you walk across the entryway, the sidewalk into the building, use the double doors only. Enter through that one way. Again, they'll be propped open for your convenience. However, we won't prop open those doors and unlock them until 10 minutes prior to the service. Now when you arrive, we're asking you to come on right into the auditorium and not linger in the entryway. So there's a few items that we need to consider there. Now, once you're inside the building, once you come into the auditorium, perhaps you can notice even now, there is yellow tape. If you could look closely, and we'll get video of it, there's also some red vinyl tape. We're going to practice 6 feet of social distancing throughout our time in the building. Now, that means no physical contact, no patting each other on the back. I'm sorry for my sweet wife who hugs everybody. There'll be no hugs. We're not going to shake hands, elbow bumps, high fives, no physical contact. We're going to maintain 6 feet of social distancing. And then we have prepared our seating to accommodate that. So we've asked you to sit every other row and at the ends of the rows. Now, entire households are welcome to sit together, but by and large, every row is going to accommodate 2, maybe 3 people at each end. And again, sit with your household and then otherwise maintain that 6 feet of distance. And we'll work with you to accommodate that. Now, the other thing we're going to do in this room is increase circulation. We're going to have fans going. We'll have all the windows open. We'll have doors open from the front. And then we'll have our fans in the window on both sides. And we'll have fans going overhead from the ceiling and probably fans in the back. Circulation is good when it comes to reducing your risk for COVID. So we'll have that going. The other thing you need to think about, well, let's talk about fans. If it's one of those cooler days, you might want to think about having a sweater or a jacket to bring with you. We're not doing this as much for the temperature of the room, but to keep air movement and circulation. And then at the conclusion of our abbreviated service, we'll dismiss folks in an organized fashion, again, to accommodate the social distancing. Now, one more area I want to talk to you about. And that area has to do with just some general items. I want you to know that this building will be cleaned and sanitized once every week. Before you come back for another worship service, that's going to happen. It will be sanitized between our faith groups that are meeting during the nights of the week. Particularly the high traffic, high touch areas, we'll do that in preparation on a regular basis. When you're here in the building, our restrooms will be open. However, maximum occupancy of just 2. If you have to wait outside the restroom, there'll be markings on the floor that maintain 6 feet distance. Our nursery for nursing mothers, that will be open, but again, a maximum of 2. Obviously, we have the commons area for other toddlers who need to be out there or families with toddlers, but we've also created in the lower level a family room that offers some quiet for parents and their little ones. You want to put somebody to sleep, you need to change a diaper outside of the area for nursing moms. That family room is available also, but again, a maximum occupancy of just 2 people. So those are some things to keep in mind. The other thing that we're going to do, we usually use a lot of volunteers here at Living Faith, and they'll be prepared and serving others. We will, in addition to everything else, we'll be taking their temperature with a distance little temperature device to make sure that no one has a high temperature. If it's over 100.4, we'll ask them to go home and not serve on that day. That's just the volunteers. At this point, we're not taking the temperature for everyone who comes and arrives in attendance. Another thing we're going to do is to have opportunity for lots of hand washing. In addition to the restrooms, we are opening up the kitchen and creating 2 additional hand washing stations. In addition to that, there'll be hand sanitizer in various stations and around various areas. Take advantage of that, keep your hands clean. We want to promote that and use that in every occasion. Another thing to consider, and this is going to be different and unusual, we're going to have somebody that basically is going to be our policy monitor for every service. We're going to ask somebody, and I'll announce at every service who it is, who just kind of helps us with all of these with friendly and gentle reminders. If we tend to, I don't know about you, but sometimes I get to talking, I'll start moving closer to people while I'm talking. And so we'll have somebody who's help us out and say, you know what, let's remember the 6 feet, let's remember to do that. If we have some mass situations, we'll help people with that and reminders, just kind of keeping things in hand. We'll announce who that person is in every service. Now, if you have concerns, that person also is kind of going to watch out for folks who might be sick or not feeling well, and we'll just kind of keep an eye on things and make sure we're all doing our very best to be as safe as possible. So that'll be happening. Let me talk about one other thing in general items, and that is this. All who will be attending are required to wear masks. There's a lot of feelings about masks, but that's what we're going to do. Everyone in attendance is going to wear a mask. Our worship team will be singing through masks. I'm going to be speaking with a mask at this point. No waivers or variants have been given for that. And can I just be frank with you? First of all, children 2 and under are not expected to wear masks. In fact, it's recommended that they don't. Children, going to be probably a little tough to get them to wear masks, so I would recommend a couple of things. Start practicing with those at home. The other thing is children might be intimidated seeing a bunch of people wearing masks. And so to help your family, to help your little ones, perhaps wear them at home. For a while, it may be tough for some of our children to wear masks and struggle with that. We understand. But they learn to wear gloves, and they learn to wear hats. They learn to wear shoes. They can learn to wear masks just like you and I will. And so those are some things about masks. And I'll just be candid with you. I don't like the idea of wearing a mask. I don't like the idea of speaking for 30 minutes or so in a sermon wearing a mask. I'll just let you know, I'm not personally enjoying the idea of a 6-foot distance. I like to pat people on the back. I like to shake hands. I like to elbow bump. I like those things. I don't like the idea of other limitations that this pandemic has put upon us. But here's the way I look at it. Nobody's asking me to renounce my faith. Nobody's asking me to start worshiping some other idol. You know what? There are other things in the public that I really don't like. I don't like speed limits. You know what? I'm a good driver. I'm an experienced driver. I have an automobile that can exceed all posted speed limits, and frankly, I would enjoy doing that often. But I recognize it's for the good of the community. Speed limits help us all be safer together, and that's the way I'm approaching the Mass. At the end of the day, we're not being asked a tremendous, horrible thing, but it is an uncomfortable thing. It is a different thing, and it's going to be unusual. So let's pray that this thing subsides, that it goes away, and we won't be wearing masks for a long time. And it offers us this opportunity to have church sooner in an earlier phase than we would be able to without the Mass. So I offer this. If you're absolutely uncomfortable with any of these guidelines and any of these policies, I totally understand. Stay home. Watch online. But if you have a desire to get back into the house of God and to worship together with one another and to be able to sing and to pray and to see one another and to visit a little bit and to socialize some and to be in a safe environment, then adapt these policies along with me. Come and join us for worship once again as we reopen our doors here at Living Faith. Thank you for your time.